Welcome down to episode number 2 of the review show. First off, thank you so much for the support on episode number 1. It went down great. Your comments were incredible, so thank you so much for that. And now in episode number 2, got some big named brands. We've got a new putter from Odyssey. We've got a golf ball from a company I've never tested before, Honma. And also, we've got some very expensive TaylorMade irons to review. So let's kick things off with this, the new Odyssey Stroke Lab 10 putter. Now, this is coming in at a price point of £270 and $300, and it's a forgiving mallet putter. That's what Odyssey claim. It's got high MOI, so off-centered hit's supposed to offer loads of forgiveness. It's got the Stroke Lab shaft for weight distribution to improve performance, and also it's got a new micro hinge start insert which creates a firmer feel and a more pleasing sound impact. And also they feature this, and they talk about this a lot, this way of alignment. They've put this big thick white line through the middle of it with the black head, makes it easy to set up and align. So I tested it and I must admit, I like the putter. Everything from the alignment was solid. I felt like with the contrast of the white line and the black head, it set up to where I wanted it to go great. It definitely has a firmer feel. I was a huge fan of the previous generation of micro hinge insert. This is harder than that, but in their defense, that's what they've gone for. They've gone for a harder feeling putter. And the distribution and the feel of the golf club is good. This Stroke Lab, I've got no real hard hitting evidence that it makes a difference, but it does feel good in the hands, and I do like that thicker grip as well. So all in all, it's a very good putter. But I've got to address something. I've got to address the Spider in the room, because there is no getting away from the fact that this putter is a carbon copy of the TaylorMade Spider. It's uncanny from the way that the bodywork is kind of framed around and those two weight ports at the back, the way it sits behind the golf ball. It is a carbon copy of a TaylorMade without question. There could be a reason behind that. I took the mick on Instagram, I posted a picture and it went crazy. But I've done a little bit more digging and there might be a guy behind this. Right, Sean Toulon. So I've gone on his LinkedIn account. Now Sean Toulon now works as a general manager at Odyssey, but that's not always been the case because he was the executive vice president of production creation for TaylorMade for 16 years, and he holds 80 patents. You might know some of these designs. R7 quad driver, M1 driver, the 300 series, the 500 series, R9, R11, SLDR. This guy made it and designed it all. And there's one golf club in this list, the Spider. Yes, Sean Toulon. He created the Spider. And now guess what? Doesn't work at TaylorMade anymore. He now works at Callaway. So it seems like he's taking his baby's design with him. It's been successful with TaylorMade, there's no question. Probably one of their most successful putters ever. And Sean's probably seen that and gone, well, hold on, I think Odyssey can bring one out. Let's think about it from a consumer standpoint. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I can maybe see it as a good thing because it gives us as golfers more options. We might prefer the feel of the Odyssey putter compared to the Spider, so we might have gone for this one. We might prefer the finish on this, or the alignment, or the shaft options, whatever it may be. And because they're quite similar priced, it's maybe not a bad option for you as a golfer. I tested both side by side, just to give you guys a bit of a comparison, and I actually found, for me personally, I preferred the TaylorMade Spider. Preferred the feel off the face, it was a little bit softer. But both weight-wise felt the same, and both alignment felt very similar. The Odyssey Spider, whatever you want to call it, it's a good solid putter, it's definitely worth trying, but there is no getting away from the fact we might have seen this design once or twice before. Also, Odyssey are bringing out this style as well. This is the Stroke Lab Bird of Prey. It's a slightly different design. Still got the white line through the middle, but a very different head shape. So there are options out there if you don't like the Stroke Lab 10. The next product I'm going to take a look at is from Honma. Now, Honma hit the headlines at the start of the year when they signed Dustin Johnson, who was world #1 at the time. I've not tested much Honma yet. They're a Japanese company who specialise in typically quite expensive gear, but they are starting to branch out and bring out much more product, which I will be testing down the line. But I've started off with a product that maybe more of us could potentially try. It's some golf balls. And I'll tell you why they caught my eye. These are the Honma Future XX, and they're a 6-layer golf ball, which I've never seen before. TaylorMade TP5 is known for being 5 layers. This is going to be 6 layers. So I'm definitely going to cut it open to see what's inside. Now, price-wise, recommended retail price is £53 a dozen, but roughly selling for about £45 a dozen. So they're competing with Pro V1s and TaylorMade TP5s. So I took the golf balls on the course to test, and first impressions was how good the ball looked. It just looks like a premium golf ball. The writing on the golf ball, the alignment on the side looks really clean, and even for me, like the 00 identification as well. Just looks like a premium ball. You can really tell by the finish. And feel-wise, when I dug my nail into it or bit it a little bit, it felt soft, and that is a good feature for me, certainly when I'm testing balls. So it was time to play a few holes. I gave it a rip with the driver and was not disappointed by the performance. The ball flight was solid, the distance was fantastic. It had a slightly louder noise, but nothing that would ever put me off. I would see the performance with that as a driver every single day. It was brilliant. And I hit some with a 3-wood and a 2-iron as well off the tee, and everything, for me off the tee, it passed with flying colours. Shots into the green, so with irons and wedges. With the irons, the ball definitely spun. I was really impressed with the spin. I was hitting some mid-irons and the ball was stopping and coming back a little bit, which is great. And with wedges, there was a huge amount of spin. I was hitting some shots into the green, the ball was zipping off the front. So far, so good. Performance for me was right up there with something like a Pro V1x. It's probably what it reminded me of. That kind of, those characteristics, which is a huge compliment. But for me, testing the golf ball, a lot of it comes down to how it feels on the green. When putting with this ball, how did it feel? Got some bad news. It just felt a little bit clicky. The noise I was getting off the ball wasn't as soft and as satisfying as I would have liked it to have been, and that was a real shame because it's so far, it's doing so good. Might not put a lot of people off, but it definitely put me off. Now, the other thing to note as well is durability. When you're paying £45 for a dozen balls, you want them to last if you've not lost them. And after playing a few holes, I was disappointed by the way that the cover was being damaged. There was scuff marks, there was noticeable damage on the ball, which you don't normally see with, let's say, a Pro V1. It makes you almost appreciate the quality of a ball like that. And nobody ever quite gets it right with the cover. And that is a huge downside of this ball. It really let it down. So overall, it's a great ball, and I was impressed, like I say, just not on the short stuff. But now it's time to have a look at this 6 layers. Like I say, TP5 is known for having 5 layers. Let's see what the Honma looks like inside with its 6 layers. Wow, I'll get some close-ups. That is a very different inside of the golf ball. The first, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers are almost quite, they're very close to the cover, much closer to the cover than I expected them to be, and there's actually quite a large core. I expected to see slightly different layers going through the ball, but it's interesting they've put all of those 5 extra layers, effectively, nearer to the cover, and then one big core. I've never seen a golf ball inside look like that before. That's really interesting. And I could see potentially how that could benefit different speeds because it'll impact the cover differently and make the ball react differently. It's a good ball, worth trying. I never expected Honma to make a good ball, but I'll be interested and excited now to try their club range, which will be coming very soon. So before moving on to the last product, rumour has it there is a Facebook page which is offering free golf tips. Every single day and every one of you should be following it. It's called Rick Shiels PGA. There's a link down below. Click the link, make sure you follow the page. I'm posting new videos on there every day. Coaching videos, fun videos. You're not going to want to miss any single one of them. They're different to what you would have seen on YouTube. Jump over there and make sure you are following Rick Shiels PGA on Facebook. And then finally, the product you've all been waiting for, the TaylorMade P790 Ti. So you might recall, only a matter of months ago, TaylorMade brought out their brand new P790. Super successful iron. I did review it and thought it was really good. They kind of hiked up the price a little bit from last year, but all in all, a good iron. Well, they've gone another step. They brought out these bad boys, and hold on to your hats because they're expensive. Now they're roughly double the price of a P790. So for steel, they're $2,700 a set. And in the US, that would be $2,800. And in graphite, they're £2,900 or $3,000 a set, making them the most premium iron lineup that TaylorMade have ever created. Wow, that's expensive for some TaylorMade irons. Right, let's talk about the tech first. Titanium body. This allows for more tungsten, almost half of the head's total mass, to be positioned low for ultra low center of gravity, therefore creating high launch, low spin, and forgiveness. Wow. So first impressions, look-wise, well, they're an interesting one, because I reckon if you didn't put a price, or if people didn't know the price of these P790 Ti's, I wouldn't be surprised if some golfers may thought these were a takedown model of the premium P790s, because in some ways they look a little bit cheaper, which is crazy to say, but they look a bit more futuristic. They've got definitely a different look about them. Not as sleek and clean as the traditional P790s, but some golfers might like the look of them. I'm mixed. I definitely prefer the standard P790. So took them on the golf course to give them a test. And I went in with it with a level of skepticism. I wasn't sure how these would kind of perform. I was like, let's see how they do. So I went out and played a few holes. I hit some shots with the 5-iron out the fairway, hit some 7-irons out some really deep rough, even hit some really controlled, delicate 9-irons and pitching wedges. And this particular shot was a shot that I don't like, a little delicate pitching wedge shot, and I absolutely stiffed it. I played some chip and runs around the green as well, and everything that I did with the clubs was fantastic. And why I sound surprised is because sometimes when you get powerful golf clubs, they can be a little bit too hot. They're harder to control, they're harder to get out the rough, they're harder to flight. I didn't find that at all with the P790 Ti's. And that really did surprise me. I even did another test where I was on a par 3. Down the hill, 145 yards, I was hitting a full pitching wedge at the flag. I hit 5 shots, because what I hate about powerful clubs is that one shot that goes 30 yards too long and you can't control it. Well, I have to say, I have to give full marks to the P790 Ti's. I hit 5 shots, 2 of them I pretty much nearly holed, but out of the 5 shots, bar one that I slightly pulled, they were very, very consistent golf shots. Full marks. So then I wanted to see, well, how different are they compared to the P790s? So I got them on GC Quad and gave them a hit. Now, the P790, I was carrying 180 yards, which is about right for the P790, getting some good ball speed and some really good spin. Then I hit the P790 Ti's to see what difference it would make. I was hitting them a little bit further, 184 yards of carry distance. But before you think that's some magical, I don't know, ingredient, you have to look at the specs. Because the P790 Ti's are 2 degrees stronger. So if they're 2 degrees stronger, guess what? The ball's gonna go longer than the P790s. And I'll give you this as a bit of advice, because I think, I might be wrong, but if you went to get a P790 and test them against the P790 Ti, you could easily be fooled to think that the P790 Ti, the expensive ones, go further. Well, they do, but there's a reason behind it. And the reason is quite simply, they are strong and lofty golf clubs. Performance out on the golf course, I could not fault one bit. The feel was good, not exceptional, but good. The flight was fantastic. It ticked every single box. The only thing that I just would not like, I'm not the biggest fan of the look, and I am not the biggest fan of that price tag. But I know golfers will. If you're in the luxury market, if you want to get the clubs that are perceived to be better than your mate who's got P790s and you've got a bit of cash, go for it. I don't blame you. But don't think they're going to be a miracle cure to lower your handicap. Good clubs, surprised me. I didn't think they were going to be as good as they were, but they definitely was. Thanks for watching, guys. That's episode number 2 of the review show. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Stay tuned, lots more to come. Make sure you subscribe to the channel or your handicap will go up. And we'll see you next time.